Oh, gosh. You just don't know what to believe with the Warriors right now. I'll get into it, though. Kyle Brandt and Peter Schrager. Here's what's going on with Brandon Aiyuk, according to them.
Ownership. Typically, as fans, you think the owners get involved with the quarterback contracts, the quarterback drafting. It is now 8/8. It's August 8th. This is not a great look for the Niners. It's not a great thing they have going on. We need a resolution. At some point, does somebody say, pay him and get him out of here now? And does that come from the boss man? We got to end this thing.
It's amazing because this is supposed to be their year. They got so close. They got to overtime. It's supposed to be their year. I don't think any of them anticipated it would be sitting here on August 8th. And it's not us hyping up the Niners saying, look at all the talent they have and look what they can do. It's every time the Niners come up, it's talking about their number 2 wide receiver, talking about this guy and his contract. It's fascinating. Kyle, that guy over there in the top right, he lets these guys make the decisions and lets them operate. But to your point, I think there has to be a deadline at some point. We don't want this thing dragging on to the regular season.
All right, there has to be a deadline at some point.
You would think.
Well, deadline for what? What exactly would the deadline be for? To get something done?
Yeah. And
okay, then what if it doesn't?
And get this S show past them and focus on football. Then it is what it is. He'll be holding out. He'll be at the house week 1.
But what I'm asking is, what is the deadline for an extension? Is the deadline for the 49ers to
resolution. I thought deadline for a resolution.
Yeah.
Like York needs to come in and say, this is what we're doing. We'll take a dime on the dollar for we got to get past this. I don't think he wants to leave.
Well, they're not taking a dime on the dollar now if they want 2 first-round picks.
Do you really believe they think they want 2?
Well, I think it depends on if they're getting a player back. If they're getting a player back that can help their roster right away, then they probably won't reach for 2 first-round picks. If they're not getting any players back, which, according to the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, they say no verbal agreement has been reached, but any potential deal would not include any Steeler personnel. So I think it depends on if they get a wide receiver back, let's say.
Makes sense.
Then they don't need as much draft compensation. If they don't get a receiver back or another position that they like, then apparently they want 2 first.
You're going to call me crazy. I'll tell you what, if they don't get a receiver or an option to replace him and they go as is, I'm going to look at this Aiyuk departure or possible departure, Steiny, like an injury. Like you just lost his services. How's that going to affect Brock? How's that going to affect the offense?
You know what? Here's what I'm doing. I'm putting Trent Williams into the same category.
Trent.
That's something, it might be less serious.
That's how I feel it is, Steiny. Way less serious.
Well, you realize if Trent Williams doesn't show up, what's today, Thursday?
Yeah.
And they play Tennessee Saturday? So that means the plane's leaving Friday, although he's in Houston, so he could meet.
Allegedly,
If he misses, if he's not there when they play Tennessee, he loses $1.1 million.
But Steiny, you've been around.
Why?
This is not like Aiyuk. That's what am I looking for? Shtick. They can make that go away and in the new deal put that in there and you won't pay 1 red cent.
Here's the other thing about Trent Williams.
You're down on him, man. Stop it.
I've been doing some reading. He may, first of all, he all right,
what do you got?
So right now he's the 6th highest paid offensive lineman.
And that's wrong. Okay.
Well, there's one right tackle who's making more money than him. All the rest are left tackles, obviously. But okay, so in 2021, they made him the highest paid left tackle in football.
I got you.
2021.
Yeah. Inflation.
COVID was over at that point. That's how recent it was, I think. Anyway.
I'm still getting it.
Depends.
How about this? From a pure cash standpoint, there's only one offensive lineman scheduled to make more than Trent Williams, and that's Tristan Wirfs.
Yeah, who just did his deal.
Yeah. So Trent's got more.
But how does that work if he's the 6th highest paid?
Because he's got 3 more years left in his deal.
Oh, wow.
So
inflation, Steiny.
Oh, inflation.
And your boy knows what time it is, and I think the Niners do. That's why I'm not worried about him. He wouldn't be playing Saturday. This Aiyuk is totally different. It's about how good does your boss or employer think you are. Trent, they know how good he is. That's why I'm not worried about Trent. Oh,
really?
Yeah, seriously.
So
I'm
what
not.
if I told you the 49ers are kicking the tires on David Bakhtiari?
Now, I would be false, or I'd hit a buzzer if I had one.
They're kicking the tires.
Nah, you don't
on
mess with Trent.
Bakhtiari.
That's
And let me tell you something about Bakhtiari. He can
Ari.
chug. Huh?
Ari.
Bakhtiari. Guy can chug.
Look at you.
You ever see him at a Bucks game?
Yeah, I saw him.
Anyway, he's a free agent, Goop. And he's been an Iron Man the last couple of years.
I don't care. The Niners, you were like, what do you mean messing with fate? Come on, this is not how we saw the offseason going. You got to get some resolve to this, resolution, ASAP. I don't know if Aiyuk didn't want the 32. I didn't know if the Niners really want. I don't believe the Niners are asking for 2 firsts because if
So you know
are,
more than the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Well, obviously they said the trade was going to be.
That was not the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Everybody in Pittsburgh is saying,
what are you
the
talking about?
The rumors,
The Pittsburgh
Timex
Post-Gazette,
Social Club.
the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette specifically said there's no verbal agreement.
Well, I'm saying
Get your sources straight.
I
It's
am my
your
source.
city.
Nobody knows what the F
Your
is going
city.
on except the people in Santa Clara. How about that?
It's your city.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I really thought something was a good popping off yesterday and the day before and the day before. 4 days worth, Steiny.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't do what?
Let them go. If they haven't, but they got. This is what's crazy, Steiny. In my world, they're like, "Hey, Aiyuk, what you doing?" It's John. They're talking. They haven't talked since May.
Who?
The Niners and Aiyuk, or at practice when they're hugging. Like
see
that's
Mike
what's
Silver's-
crazy about it.
You see Mike Silver's story
I
in the
missed
Chronicle
it.
yesterday? He said Kyle Shanahan's annoyed. He's annoyed. This guy's just hanging around.
Well,
Hanging around.
doesn't that go both ways? Aiyuk annoyed?
You know what the Warriors still have? I mean, the Warriors, the 49ers still, they can do what? They still have one more thing they can do, and that's say, now you got to practice. Now you got to practice.
But, well, I
What?
was going to say that takes reps away from other guys if they really know this dude's not going to be around.
Exactly. So,
You don't want to mess with that.
Well, you guys did see the news this morning from the 49ers. They've signed a wide receiver. Robbie Anderson.
Calvin Austin?
Robbie Anderson.
Oh, Robbie.
You know what? I like the player. I mean, he had a big year last year for the Towns.
And they're
Didn't
doing
he?
that because the youngsters probably shoulder issues.
He can
Did you
open
say
up the can.
Saskatchewan?
I think they won it, didn't
They're
they?
bringing.
Are they the Rough Riders or the Rough Riders?
Yes.
What, Goo? What?
They're bringing in Breida the cheetah because of. Just everybody come back. I don't like this, man. Get some finality to it, Steiny, and move on, man. You just talked about it. There's not, I believe, 4 preseason games.
3.
Man,
There's 3 preseason
2
games.
after Saturday.
Yep.
And if you get a new receiver, you know what I mean? He's got to get up to speed. You just don't want to be behind the 8 ball.
Yeah. We'll see. The one thing that I am, and I do, and I said it yesterday, I don't think he can ever paint a locker room feeling one way or the other. But let me just throw this out at you if you're a 49er fan. How do you think this is playing in the 49ers locker room? Do you think that, let's just take a player, so-and-so, nameless player. Do you think that player is frustrated with Aiyuk for his stance? Or would a player be more frustrated with the Niners, the organization, for not getting this thing done?
From what I know, partner, and I love the question, you never talk about a man trying to get his chicken. I have to believe they would be irritated with the organization. Like, do something so this goes away and we're not held hostage, leading off shows or whatnot. Let's find out who is going to be one of the starting wideouts alongside Debo. Is it going to be Aiyuk or somebody else? So I'm going, Steiny, it has to be the team.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know.
And are you pro Aiyuk or pro Niners in this? Or does it change? Mine fluctuates. I got to be honest. It changes daily, man. And again, this is without not knowing who to believe. But darn it, Steiny, you either don't want him here,
No, they do. They want him here.
They better want him here.
Yeah, they want him here. At $14 million.
Man, it's
at 14.
That's a cold game then, Steiny.
I'd love to be in that cold game. Love to be playing in that cold game. So what do you do if you're the San Francisco 49ers? I would think that the one risk, and we kind of heard Nick Bosa talk about it yesterday, what if the 49ers trade Aiyuk, that would probably sit poorly with the players.
Man.
Because at that point, then they know they're probably not quite as good next year, or this year, at least on paper.
But I'll tell you real quick here, two players that shouldn't open their lips, Deebo Samuel and Bosa. And the reason I bring them up, those are the two reasons. They just got their bag. So what are you going to say?
Well, they say he's a tough player to replace.
Yeah.
That's all they're saying. But we'll see how it all shakes out. 785. I wonder if this is the sentiment that's out there mostly. He says goo, but I don't.
It's both of us.
Well, this is more you.
Yeah.
He says, Goo, you're treating Aiyuk like he's Draymond Green of the Niners. Let him go and let's get back to work. The future is now.
No, I'm not doing that. The team is. Make a decision. Stand on business.
They have.
Quit. What is this?
I love it.
You don't love it.
Well, I don't love it today because, nothing's happening.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I loved it. When Filippone came on.
We didn't win 18 rounds with this.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And in the meantime, Mr. Boombox just quietly getting away with doing the same thing, and nobody has a problem with it.
Because he's an all-pro, he's an OG.
Oh, but now Aiyuk is, I thought he was one of the best young receivers in the game.
He is.
Top 5 receiver.
He is, and he's trying to get paid to so.
Okay, and Trent Williams is the top 5 lineman. How come Trent Williams is skating on this when Aiyuk is taking a beating?
Because Trent's contract is not right. He's trying to get some guaranteed money, Steiny.
Yeah, well, I could say Trent's contract is a lot more right than Brandon Aiyuk's contract right now.
Well, if we were to bet right now, there's no way you would bet Trent's not going to get his money.
Yeah.
That's like minus 210.
There's a chance.
Yeah.
There's a chance, and I'll ask again, why doesn't he have it by now? It's been March, April, May, June, July. We're into August. Almost 6 months.
That's a little
6 months.
That's a little strange.
Oh, for Mr. Franchise. Greatest lineman of all time. He's so important.
He's your best lineman.
He's so important, they didn't feel the need to wrap him up. Interesting.
Now, you could...
Maybe they like... who's his backup?
You could make a
backup.
You could make a case, Donnie. This is how the Niners botched the offseason, not getting that done. And we've heard it. Cal Commies wrote about it. Other people have wrote about it. Silver wrote about it. I mean, you knew about this?
I wonder, let me ask 49er fans this, and I'm not saying we got to spend all show on it, but everybody's got a feeling about Aiyuk and the 49ers and what's going on and who's at fault and what they'd like to see. And how you feeling about Trent Williams? Like I just do think
it's a nothing burger to me.
Okay, all right.
But if you ask me how I truly feel, or if I had to blame somebody, I'm blaming the organization.
Oh my God!
You asked me.
Yeah, I did.
Now, why would you say, "Oh my gosh"?
Because he's making 22 this year. Just show up.
What don't you understand about a guy
lineman.
at 36 years old?
That's what I don't understand. He's 36.
So he's trying to get his before.
He's trying to get his.
He's worth
That's
whatever.
What I don't like.
Yeah. Well, are you trying to win, partner?
What I'm trying to do is ask people who are pissed off about Aiyuk why they're not similarly upset with Trent Williams. Because the reality is, if Trent Williams is coming in at $22 million and the 49ers want Brandon Aiyuk to come in at $14 million, then Aiyuk is the worst paid of those two guys.
So where was this energy for when Bosa, who had a year left on his
Bosa was in the same kind. No, there's a difference.
I'm talking about he held out.
There's a difference between Trent Williams now and where Bosa was last year.
What is
Bosa was in his window. Bosa was in his window. He was in the same window that Aiyuk's in now on his initial rookie contract.
And he held out.
But that's right.
So why do you feel different?
Because Williams' contract was signed in 2021.
Right.
He's not eligible for an extension.
Yeah, but he's so good at his job.
Well, just say he's being selfish. That's all I want.
No, he's trying to get his money, Steiny.
That's being selfish.
No, you would do the same thing.
No, I wouldn't.
What would you do? Hey.
He's a top.
Come on, you would try to get your. You would use your leverage.
Top 5 paid offensive lineman.
Obviously, that's not good enough for him.
Right. So why is he painted? Nothing to see here. But other people are saying that Aiyuk is not doing it right.
In his position, Steiny. He's that good.
But he's 36.
Okay, but he's a good
36.
All pro.
Okay.
Back to back.
So Brandon Aiyuk was all pro.
I guess you're missing the leverage play.
Well, I mean,
you could break out the Bible because it looks like you're saying, Trent, what are you doing? Dude is trying to cash out.
That's right.
And he's got the leverage because he's at the top of his game.
You're right. You've answered the question.
I get that.
He's trying to cash out.
And
that has nothing to do with the team. Nothing. He's put the team second. Trent Williams. Plain and simple.
Or the team's put him second.
What are you talking about? He's under contract.
Yeah. McCaffrey, he's not happy with that.
Oh.
He's not happy with it.
And because he's not happy with it, we're going to bend over backwards. Fair.
Yeah.
Okay. How you can sit there and say all he wants to do is cash out. Well, that's I agree with you. But if we're talking about team, 1 year windows, this is a huge year. We got to do. Yeah. Then he's showing you what kind of guy he is.
Well, he's showing you. He's been stellar on the field since he's been here. Yeah. Guys like him, and like you said, he's one of the leaders with the boombox coming out.
And we've given Brandon Aiyuk all his plaudits. He came in, was in the doghouse with Shanahan, worked his ass off, did all the right things. What more do you want him to do? Homegrown. But people are pissed at him. Trent Williams, on the other hand, he's got $78 million left on his contract. I'm just saying that, listen, you want to tell me he's the best offensive lineman in football?
Or one of them.
Okay, that's fine. He's still holding out with a contract sitting there that he signed in 2021. So to me, he's no different than Brandon Aiyuk, except he's actually getting paid more to his salary right now than Aiyuk is. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and all I'm saying to you, Steiny, as much as I like Aiyuk, we don't know what he's asking for. And if he's asking for too much, the team is saying you're not in that realm.
Yeah.
Trent Williams is in that realm.
We'll see.
He's shown it.
Well,
okay, so it's not about
yet.
He's Justin Jefferson of the offensive linemen outside of the age. Yeah. So I know what card he's playing, and I think he's going to come up aces.
Well, he might.
And if he were,
but he's still selfish. He's selfish. He's being selfish.
And so was Bosa when he held out.
No, it's a different situation.
He held out.
It's different.
See, you're being a hypocrite. You're being a hypocrite, man. And you can't explain why you're being a hypocrite. I just did,
but you're not listening.
No, if he held out, so why are you praising him if he held out? It's the same ideology. He held out. Quit telling me about why. He held out, and he wasn't in practice, and you're giving him a pass.
You're asking me what the difference is, and I'm trying to tell you. Bosa was on his rookie deal. Last year, the window opened for Bosa to sign an extension. The 49ers said, we want to sign you to an extension. He said, I want to sign an extension. He held out. Trent Williams right now has a contract for the next 3 years. That's the difference.
Okay, so did Bosa show up to work or not?
Yes. He
did. He didn't. He held out.
Okay, he held out, but he showed up.
So why would you say yes?
Well, because I thought you meant after he signed the contract.
He didn't show up to work. That's all. That's what Trent's doing.
Why can't?
Why are you all in the tea leaves?
Because there's a fund. You asked me the difference, and I just told you.
The difference is to you.
There's a fundamental difference.
I don't see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I think you got to look.
I see a color difference. Outside of that, both of them didn't show up, and you're putting Bosa in Santa Claus category. Nothing to see here, and then Trent Williams is a villain.